Hi Arthur, great to meet up with you on the range and do some work on your swing. Just a quick recap on the key points from your session. First of all, if we look at you here, top left, what we've got is a player who loses the radius of the swing at the top, so struggles to control the radius. The wrists get a little bit loose at the top, the shaft gets a little bit long, and then from the player then has to release the club very early, try to regain the radius of the swing, and in doing that, the release point moves back. The right elbow is popping out, as we discussed during the session, rather than being tucked in nicely. And from there, you're always going to run the risk of hitting the ground behind the ball. The club's coming in on a very shallow angle of attack, and when we look at it from down the line, what we also see is when we're attacking or when we're swinging the club so far back, as the wrist gets sloppy, the club face gets open at the top, and then from there we've got to really work hard to try and release that club. The body's not really working well at this point coming into the golf ball. The swing line has been shifted to the left, the club face is very open to the path of the club, and from there, if you don't flick with the hands at just the right time, you can see there the club wrapping over, you're going to lose that ball to the right. You're going to run the risk of hitting the ground behind the ball, but also you're hitting the golf ball with added loft, so you haven't actually got the true loft of the club coming into the golf ball. So the first thing we talked about doing was taking the club back a little bit shorter. You can see here, first of all, you control the radius of the swing better, nowhere near as long at the top. This was you feeling like you were making a half swing. Much better control of the shaft there at the top of the swing. From that position, the downswing was quite, as we said, thrown out, casting the club out. Was what we're trying to get, excuse me, on that line, is a situation where we narrow the swing arc a little bit, and you can see there that right elbow still popping out, which means the release point is too far behind the ball. So what do we do to achieve that? Well, with a shorter backswing, what we're going to try and do is hit out in front of the golf ball. We've got a cane down here between your feet, club on top of the cane, and just a little bit of time on this in the nets. Much better backswing, much better control of the length of the arc. Now as you come down, because you're trying to hit the ground in front of the golf ball, the right elbow tucks in a little bit more, so we're not popping that right elbow out quite as much. The release point is more over the top of where the ball would be, and as we come into impact, instead of having a shaft that's quite vertical with a hand or the hands over the top of the club head, what we now get is a much more shaft lean. You can see there the handle out in front of the golf ball, allowing us to, as we come through, straighten the arms a little bit more rather than tuck the arms in and divide the elbows. So you can see again there that you're hitting out at the ball for much longer when you're using that exercise. So it's a combination of shortening the swing on the way back and then controlling the rate at which you release the golf club on the way through. Good luck with it. I look forward to getting some feedback from you. Well done.